Hello, I'm Ryan Kennedy. Today I want to chat a little bit about the importance of ball position as it relates to angle of attack and club path. Now, your shot distance, your contact, and even ball flight can be greatly affected due to this relationship between ball position and your angle of attack and club path. So we're going to be dealing with a few different scenarios today, namely ball position. So we'll deal with an iron. There's middle, back, and up. We're going to talk a little bit about how those affect your iron shots. When it comes to a driver, generally we go with the same terms. However, the ball position is very different. So here, back would be about this position here. Middle is going to be just inside the left heel. Up is way out here. So both of these are affected differently. That's between the driver and the iron because of the fact that the ball is either on the ground or on the tee. Now let's look at a couple more things to help us understand this relationship. Couple things to keep in mind before we go through this demonstration. First and foremost, the ideas we're going to cover are based on the club face being pointed at the target at impact. We are also going to assume that the ball contact is with the center of the face, not the heel, toe, high or low on the face. Third thing is that obviously we're being pretty general. After all, we are using a hula hoop. So the degrees that we talk about are not going to be precise because it's a hula hoop. So what we see in front of us here, we're going to assume that this bottom of the arc here is 0 degrees as far as your angle of attack has occurred. And anything that we hit off the ground, like an iron, we're going to assume is over here on the left. And woods that are up on the tee are here on the right. So when we're hitting a wood, we're assuming that we're hitting it on the upswing, and when we're hitting an iron, we're hitting it on the downswing. In this diagram, represented by the white rod, is our target line. Now, as you can see, if you hit the ball with the angle of attack of 0, the path can be directly at the target, right here at this point, and you will hit it at the target. However, since we are hitting a ball off the ground, we're speaking of irons in this case, that means that we're going to be hitting it on the downswing. So that is represented by the yellow rod. The head is moving downward on the path of the hula hoop at impact. And you'll also notice that even though the bottom of the path is pointed at the target, where you're catching this on the downswing, it's also pointed quite a ways to the right. Therefore, in order to hit the ball straight off of, when you're hitting down on it, you need to tilt your path quite a ways to the left in order to hit it straight at the target. Again, this is assuming that the club face is pointed at the target at impact and contact is in the center of the face. We now have this set up for woods or hitting up on the ball. And again, we're going to assume that contact is at this point on the hula hoop. That's the club path again represented by the hula hoop. And what you will notice is that at this point the club is also moving to the left of the target. So if your path at the bottom, which is right in here, is pointed at the target, but you're hitting up on the ball, your actual path is to the left of the target, so the ball will fade off to the right. So in order to hit it straight when the ball is up on a tee, what we need to do is rotate our path to the right And now you see the yellow rod there going right at the target. So again, it's the opposite for hitting down versus hitting up. If you're hitting down, your path is going to the right and you need to swing left. If you're hitting up, your path is going to the left and you need to swing right. So these ideas are again all based on club face being square to the target at impact and centeredness of contact. But these are some items that you need to keep in mind when working on your game.
The next step we need to take to figure out what is the best ball position for you is to know your tendencies, know your shot tendencies, and you need to know your current path and angle of attack. So via flight scope here, I know that with an iron, I always hit down on the ball a significant amount. With a wedge, it's somewhere in the 5 to 6 degree range. The longer the iron gets, that tends to shallow out. So I have a 5 iron here. With a 5 iron, I tend to hit down roughly 2 to 3 degrees. So if my shot pattern is a draw, and I've got the ball middle to back, if I want to shallow out my attack angle a little bit and get my club path a little less to the right because of that downward angle, I simply move my ball up in my stance, play it up in here. Now, same swing, but different ball position. My ball is going to have less of that draw. It's going to be a much straighter ball. And my angle of attack isn't going to be nearly as far down. So this relationship is dependent on what you're doing now and what you want the ball to do. So if I really wanted to hit a fade, then I would actually move it up even more, and I would even open my stance. So by moving it up more, I've decreased my angle of attack, which is going to help me fade it. I've also added a little bit more club path to the left, and then as I open my stance even more, now my club path is really going to the left. So I don't need to change my golf swing at all. All I need to do is change the relationship of the golf ball. So conversely, when I want to hit a little knockdown draw into the green, say I'm going into the wind, then I move the ball back in my stance. Now I'm hitting down on it more, therefore I'm going to hit more of a draw. So this relationship is extremely important to keep in mind, but again, you must have that starting point of knowing what you currently do. And try as I might, with a camera I cannot figure it out. Thankfully, Flight Scope gives this to us immediately. You can grasp what you're up to and figure out what the feeling is you need to change. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And if you would like some more information on the power and angle of attack, please check out my website under the coaching tab under the new power program, RyanKennedyPGA.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.